Things just got real for the Winnipeg Jets as an NHL insider has revealed an update that all Jets fans knew was coming and have feared for a long time. We're going to break down what this update is and what this means for the Winnipeg Jets heading forward into free agency and next season, because it looks like there's going to be a lot of turnover. We're going to break it all down in this episode of Hattrick HQ. But before we do that, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. About 72% of you who watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. So if you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening with the Winnipeg Jets, the NHL, your favorite team in the NHL, go down below, hit that free subscribe button, because this is the place to be for all your daily NHL content. But Mark, let's jump right into it. Elliot Friedman and other insiders, of course, have now officially reported that, you know, the door isn't necessarily officially closed on Nikolaj Ehlers, but he's hearing that Nikolaj Ehlers has informed the Jets that he will at least go to free agency on July 1st and test the market. Now, he does close the tweet by saying the door is not closed on Manitoba, which is an odd way to phrase that, but he will test the market. So he's going to for sure at least see what's out there in the market right now. What's your take on this? We're going to get into the advanced analytics, what this means for the Winnipeg Jets moving forward, because that's a lot of salary cap space you can use now. Well, how do you feel about this? Because this is something that I feel like most Jets fans at this point in time at least knew was coming, but the door isn't necessarily closed yet.
I mean, looking at this in a sense, we've seen from the end of the year press conference from this team, everyone on the team spoke about how highly Ehlers is regarded in the locker room. We've seen the general manager go out to say they want him to make a Jet for life. Everything pointed in this organization wanting to keep him here for the rest of his career, but him testing the market. So many teams are buying. A lot of teams have a boatload of salary cap space. I don't know if the Jets are going to be able to retain him. It's a big blow to this organization. Yes, you can spend the money on a different player, make a new look on this team. Maybe that what is get you over the hump. They brought in Jonathan Toews. Maybe they go out to get more veterans, but I do think at the end of the day, Ehlers is going to go to a new team, and I think this is a bigger blow than some people might notice.
Absolutely, and it's going to be. He's a great player, especially in the regular season. Of course, a lot of people have their reservations about him in the playoffs, and there's a lot of players around the league with that same problem. But as you can see here, like you alluded to, Kevin Cheveldayoff did, have a long meeting with him. He's been meeting with his agent, and he wanted to, he was selling him on being a Jet for life. And the fact that that contract hasn't been signed yet, and now we get this from Elliot Friedman, that he is going to hit the open market and test free agency, even if he does come back to Winnipeg, which I think is very unlikely at this point, I don't think he's going to be a Jet for life, right? And Kevin Cheveldayoff 5 hours ago at the time of this recording, so this did come out today, he said, we'll continue to have conversations until we can't. So they're going to keep trying to sign him until they can't, or their priorities shift, because, there's been a lot of reports about, guys like Mitch Marner and some other, top free agents not actually signing on July 1st. They're going to take their time this year, which I think is very interesting. So obviously until their priorities shift, and speaking of priorities, we can kind of get into that now as well. As you can tell, we'll get into Nikolaj Ehlers again in a second. Of course, he had a great year, 69 games, 63 points. I mean, almost a point a game player. We know that he's had better seasons as well, so we know the type of player he is, and it looks like he could actually end up in Carolina. Carolina is going to take a big swing on a lot of these free agents. We heard that they're in on Mitch Marner, in on Nikolaj Ehlers, and will offer him big money. So it's pretty interesting. I don't, necessarily disagree with, the fact that he wants to test the market, just see what's out there. I mean, look at his advanced analytics in terms of offensive output, like absolutely insane. He's also not terrible defensively. I think he's actually underrated physically as well. So what are your thoughts on Carolina? Before we move on to what this means for the Winnipeg Jets as a whole, what are your thoughts on Carolina making a run here? Because I feel like there's a lot of teams that are going to pony up a lot of money for some of these guys that are available this year, and I don't know if the Jets can, necessarily compete with that or want to.
I mean, the big thing is going to the Ehlers with Winnipeg real fast. We know they have been talking since the season ended. We know they're going to continue to win. So it does seem like they have the leverage. They can get this to work. But the big thing Carolina has is a lot of cap space. We were talking about this, Darius, looking at the future of this Carolina team. There's so many options. Not a lot of guys they need to sign, and they have a lot of room. So it's going to get very interesting if one of these teams can come in, poach Ehlers from the Jets. Yes, he could sign with the Jets, be with the Jets for life. But this is a Carolina team that just made it to the conference finals, a team that's done this multiple times. They've yet to get over the hump, but I do think there's some intriguing factors to go to Carolina, play under Rob Brendamore, and I think they might be able, at the end of the day, to offer more money, and maybe it's money that Ehlers can't turn down.
Absolutely, and you could see right here, again, this is not a projection or anything like that, but 8.5, maybe $9 million, that's something that I'm not sure the Jets would be comfortable doing either. But anyway, to talk about the Winnipeg Jets and what's going to happen now, the future of this organization, the direction they're going to head in. You still have a lot of really good players. Let's not make it, this is not doomsday or anything like that. This team's not going to take, I don't think a significant step back because of losing Ehlers. And they have $24.5 million in cap space as it stands right now. But it gets very interesting when you take a look at the lineup from Puckpedia as well, because you have a ton of RFAs still to sign. You still have to sign Morgan Barron. Obviously, they got a couple of these contracts done too, which I think is great. And you have guys like Chibrikov, who I think is going to be able to come up and maybe make an impact at some point too. Lambert, we don't know exactly what he's going to be at the NHL level just yet, but he's showing promise as well. But Gabe Vilardi, he's going to get paid a lot. We've been talking about Sandberg. He doesn't have a contract yet. He's an RFA. They're probably taking their time with it, but it's probably going to be, when we were looking at projections earlier this season, maybe $4 to $5 million. That's a significant increase from just over $1 million is what he was making before. So, you still have to fill in the rest of this team with your, restricted free agents. They just signed Jonathan Taves, who's kind of penciled into that second line center spot, which I think is pretty interesting. So they can still go out with this cap space and make a significant move because, you take $5 million out here. We don't know what Gabe Vilardi's getting necessarily, but you're probably still going to have quite a bit of money left. You have almost your entire decor solidified at this point with some of the moves that you made last year. Goaltending's locked up. Just have to sign a few of the RFAs. So what do you make of that? Do you still think they're going to go out and maybe try and get a big fish or anything like that? Or do you want to, leave yourself open to be flexible in season?
I mean, I think the big thing is looking at the future of the team going into free agency. And this is not a Minnesota Wild video, but there was a recent report that Bill Guerin was speaking on it, and he said it's actually mind-blowing how every single team, minus the Pittsburgh Penguins, are currently in the market to buy. It's unheard of. It's never been seen. Usually teams are selling, so seeing 30-plus teams competing for these free agents is going to make a bidding war. Yes, the Jets can go out and offer 10 plus or even 13 million to a guy like Mitch Marner, but teams are going to be competitive with these offers. I'm worried that they strike out on Ehlers. He goes to, say, Carolina. Then you're stuck, and if they panic to go sign another big name, I'm worried they're going to overpay or maybe even go out to spend too many assets to get a player when they have a lot of guys. Vilardi's there. We've seen how good Cole Perfetti was. Game 7 was incredible coming from this guy. I think they do have a good future core. I'm just really worried the money that they're going to spend if they lose out on Ehlers and kind of panic to replace him.
Absolutely, and I don't think you should have panic. This is still a very good team. You can still go out and sign a couple guys for sure. You have to take care of your own first, I think. You have to make sure you get Sandberg locked up. You know what that contract looks like. Same with Vilardi. Probably get that done, sooner rather than later. Obviously, I think you want to keep Morgan Barron as well. He was pretty good. So you still have a very good lineup here. Where everyone's playing and exactly what spots, that's still, we're still going to find that out as we creep towards the season and as they make some signings. They're going to make some signings in free agency, but it's just going to be interesting to see if they spend all of that money that they're saving on not signing Ehlers, let's say, to sign a big name. But it's going to be very interesting. Let us know how you feel and what you think of this whole situation. Nikolaj Ehlers looks like he is not returning to Winnipeg. Let us know how you feel in the comments, and if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything going on in the NHL.